Welcome, Tsai.
Hello everyone. And before I start, I want to ask you how many of you still buy CDs and listen to them? Please raise your hand if you still buy CDs. Okay, only one, I see. Let's change the subject a little bit. How many of you, or when was the last time that you went to your local DVD store in order to rent movies for the weekend? Anyone? Still do that? No? Okay. No wonder blockbusters, they fail. Okay, so because why we don't do that anymore is because for music, people usually go onto apps like Spotify or Apple Music, or if they want to watch movies or shows, they go onto platforms such as YouTube or Netflix. So the services or the applications that I just currently mentioned can be summarized in one word, which is streaming. So streaming technology impacts not only our day-to-day life, but also the whole entertainment industry. It affects how they make money and the whole business module, and sometimes even the artist creation process. So for today, I'm going to talk about the effects of streaming technology on the entertainment industry from three perspectives. First one is music, second one is movies or shows, and the third one is gaming. So first let's talk about streaming music first. And to talk about streaming music, you have to mention Spotify, which is the pioneers of this whole streaming music industry. And in the past, when we want to listen to music, we either to go to a record store to buy CDs, or if you have an iPod, you go to iTunes, you download your music, you pay by each song. And I know a lot of you might be pirating the music anyway, but we don't consider that anyways. And in terms of that, Spotify broke the rule by introducing the subscription fee, which means that if you pay for a month, and during that month you can get access to every song on their whole library. And if you think about it, it's sort of like going to a buffet, and you pay for like 2 hours, and you can eat anything that you like as long as it's in the restaurant. So this is sort of like the same thing. And I think that it makes the user experience more easier because for example, if I want to check out the song, I don't want to consider if I want to buy it or not. I just click it and it plays. And I think that a lot of people like it, so Spotify has a great success. And a lot of tech companies also think that, oh, this might be a really good deal. So they step in, such as Apple, they're doing it, and also Amazon, other big tech traditional companies. They're starting to get inside this market and see if they can make money out of it. And as for now, streaming music has currently around 20 billion US dollars of the whole market value, so it is very huge. So here are some stats. First one, you can see that nowadays, like you guys just did, nobody buys CDs anymore or downloads. Most of people do streaming. And the second one, you can see that the major competitors are right here. Basically, Spotify and Apple Music taking half of the whole market. And from here, I want to point out that there is a problem with the streaming music industry right now, which is monopoly. You can see that from here, Spotify and Apple Music gets half of the whole market share. And this is an issue because they use algorithms to recommend songs to you, which can be a problem because in this case, these two companies control a lot over the music industry. They can get to control what the top 50 or top 100 songs are, which is a really bad thing because you don't know what interests they have. And another problem is that because all of these recommendations are based off algorithms, so people tend to listen to songs that are in their comfort zone because the algorithm only recommends the songs that you have previously heard and think that you may like. These songs are very similar, and people can expand their musical taste. And another problem, which I think is actually more worse, is that companies, especially like Spotify, they are notoriously for not paying the artists well. So even Taylor Swift, a very famous pop singer, she decided to ban Spotify for some time. I believe it's in 2014 or 15. She uh, she doesn't let her music up on the platform because she thinks that Spotify doesn't pay their artists well. And actually, not just Spotify. All of these companies they all face the same problem: is that nowadays artists cannot make money based purely off streaming. They need to make other incomes such as buying merchandise or selling concert tickets in order to make money. So these, I believe, are the two major problems with streaming music as of right now. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about is video streaming or movie shows. And before, actually the story is the same. A Sara company comes off, and in this case it's Netflix, and Netflix makes some money, and also it is based on a subscription plan. And as Netflix started to gain a lot of success in the field, a lot of more traditional media companies start to get inside. Right now, besides from Netflix, there are some platforms such as HBO Max or Disney Plus or Amazon Prime and stuff like that. And also, I want to clarify that for here, where I'm not talking about apps such as YouTube or TikTok, because these are based on ads, and users can also create their own content and upload it. So this is a very different business plan, and I'm not going to discuss about that. So actually, these are very similar. So I'm actually going to talk about a story about this part. So these are three movies, and I believe that most of you can recognize these three films. Let's start with the left one. So as for last year, a film called Tenet was released. It's directed by Christopher Nolan. And at that time, he decided that this movie shouldn't be on any streaming platforms. It should be only on cinemas. The problem is, at that time, actually still now, is the peak of COVID-19. So especially in North America, few people can actually go inside the theater to watch the movie. And as a result, this movie did actually not very good. If you look at the numbers itself, it's okay, but compared to Nolan's other films, such as the Dark Knight trilogy or Inception, the box office is usually triple or even more the amount of Tenet. So their distributor, which is Warner Brothers, believed that Tenet is actually a failure. And we can see that from moving on to the middle one, this is Wonder Woman 1984, released as December of last year. They took a different strategy. What they did is that they put this movie on the streaming device and also the cinemas on the same day. So as an audience, you get to choose whether you can go to the theaters or you can watch it on HBO Max, which is Warner Brothers' own streaming device. And apparently, I don't have the data, but apparently they think that this plan works. They can give them actually more money, because later on for this film, Godzilla vs. Kong, this is what just released in cinemas last week, and I believe that starting from tomorrow or maybe the following weekend, you can get to watch it on HBO Max too. So the story here, the moral of the story I'm trying to tell you is that these traditional media companies are moving away from cinemas and more towards the streaming services, because they do believe that this is the future. This is the future of where the money is and where people would really want to watch movies. So here are some statistics. You can see that this is actually from 2019. So you can see that Netflix is still, well, because they're still pioneers. They have the time advantage. But as time moves on, right now we have Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and HBO Max, and also other numerous streaming devices that are in the market. So I believe that the whole competition will become more and more fierce in the near future. So the last one I'm going to touch on is streaming games. So streaming games is actually not technically feasible in the past because it requires fast response and lots of computation. So usually people still buy a PC to play at home or buy an Xbox or PS4 to play at home. The games are still run on their own devices. However, right now it changes because right now we have better internet and we have more cloud computing technologies. So the future is actually technically feasible for people to stream games. So as for 2019, Google launched the Google Stadia to stream games, but it was considered a failure. However, right now the most promising one is actually this, the Project X Cloud, which is sort of like a streaming games platform from Microsoft or Xbox. And from here is that the concept is that the games are executed at a remote server, and you only need to use your phone in order to play the latest big title games. And this is actually quite cool because originally you need to be at your home or be at your PC in order to play these games. Now you don't. You just need a phone and a really good connection, and that's all. And I believe that this is the future of streaming, and this is where the whole industry tends to go. So from these three main perspectives, what I want to tell you is that streaming is actually very important right now and is affecting the whole industry. And whether you're looking for a job right now to choose the company that you want to go, or you are investing in some fields, you need to take this part into consideration. And I hope that by this information you can make better choices in your life. Thank you very much.
Do you think that there will be no cinema at all in the future because of the streaming industry?
I think that it will still exist, but I believe that it will be in a form like very few selected locations will have that. Just like nowadays people still buy vinyl records, or it will be a niche product. Like some people who are very enthusiastic about this kind of stuff will still go, but the large, massive audience, they won't go to the cinemas.
Good. Any others? Or has anyone ever visited a movie theater recently? Not anymore. Uh-oh. Okay. So I wonder, of course, it's maybe more convenient if we can watch movies at home. But how will this affect the industry? Do you think it's going to be beneficial to the growth of market? I think a lot of directors, they actually complain about streaming technology.
Yeah, I think that it is better because for one, you can spend less on distribution. Like in the past, you need to contact the theaters and you need to put out ads in order to advertise your own movie, which costs a lot. But now because you can just put it online and people all over the world can watch it, so the cost is actually much lower. So if producing a movie can have a lower cost, that means that there are more creative movies that will be produced. So I think that in the long term it will be beneficial for the whole industry.
So any other question or comment?
How about the problem that you mentioned that the companies don't treat the artists well? So do you think there is any solution to this?
Well, I think that what we individuals can do is only to buy their merchandise or buy physical CDs or that kind of stuff. Because I think that from the grand scheme of view, actually, it is not possible to change that way. Because the subscription fee is most companies all have the same fee, so it is not possible for them to suddenly raise the fee and pay artists well enough. So I think that artists need to find their own way of how to make money. But right now, if they can still make lots of money, but they can't make solely of music. They need to make lure people to buy something else.
Any others? I think you just mentioned Christopher Nolan. He refused to show Tenet through streaming platforms.
Yes.
So could you explain why he decided not to do that?
Yeah. So I think that this is because he is sort of like more old school director. He believes that the whole cinema experience is actually very important. So he thinks that if this kind of movie you can watch it on a phone, it would really disrupt the whole experience. And actually, many directors agree with him on that point. So I think that he still has a point because when you go to the theater, you have better screens, you have better sound quality, and everything is just so better compared to watching on your own phone.
Yeah, I think I'm more old school person like Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Because they had they got cool visual effects, and when you
Yeah.
watch on your phone, you can just experience the whole visual effect.
Yeah.
Good. So any more? Okay, so then thank you very much.